Welcome, Saber fans. Here we have a video of Austin's 7 Chambers Aniflex with a combo of comparing it to the 89 Saber Skinnyflex, because I have the Skinnyflex and I've installed probably 15 or 20 of them, and this is my first Aniflex. So really looking a lot at the differences. There are not that many of them, but there's certainly some. So this is Austin's 7 Chambers Aniflex. Some of the key differences between the Skinnyflex, and they're both great sabers. Similar in weight, they're both very substantial, relatively speaking, both highly chromed. Some of the things that struck me on the Aniflex are that the pommel screws in flush to the handle. I think that was great. Another thing was that the knurled section here is highly chromed compared to the Skinnyflex, which it seems that the chroming did not get as much into the knurled section. So I think those two things would probably be benefits on the Aniflex side. One difference here, this button on the Aniflex is working, so it's got
my powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count.
2 working buttons. And on the Skinnyflex, they intend to have a button section, or this working button here, and forget about the fact that the Skinnyflex is backwards. This was a request. But this front button here is fake and actually needs to get knocked out if you need to get in and take the saber apart, whereas this guy screws off, and this is just a plunger similar to the back section here. So I like the 2 working buttons. Honestly, outside of that, there's just not a ton of difference between the two. I think they're both great. I believe that this Aniflex is a V1. I was taking a look at them, and it looks like there's a V2, and I think on the V2 that this plunger is more similar to a convex button, like the fake button there on the Skinnyflex. So quick comparison, very similar. I like them both a lot. I like the 2 buttons up here. The side button on the Skinnyflex was never all that operational. I actually, on my own, I put a button behind the top button as well as just underneath the clamp guard there. So the Austin's Aniflex, another difference is that the Aniflex handle comes off from here down, whereas on the Skinnyflex, this handle screws off underneath of the clamp section. So Austin picked up a chassis from Shapeways. The chassis worked pretty well. I'm going to put some high heat tape around here to hold this on. Maybe a dab of glue. I've been messing with the config, so I haven't put it in yet. But this chassis is great. What I found when I got it that I didn't know is there's a couple of 3mm LED slots right here next to the recharge port. So I put those in and actually used a config that I had done for the Luke cave scene. So this is your auxiliary button, and this is your activation button, and that's what Austin had requested. And again, with a little Kapton here, this will be staying down when I put it together. So here's your LEDs. Activation. It's the blade plug that came with the saber. Not a ton of shine through around the sides, but it's got a stock lit PCB inside, so you will see a little bit of shine through. Definitely much louder with the pommel on. This has pretty good resonance. So when you get this, Austin, it will have a kill switch. This came with your chassis inserted. What I suggest is whenever you're doing anything with the chassis, if you're pushing it in, support it from behind. If you're pulling it out, support it from the top. The Shapeways chassis they're pretty sturdy, but they're plastic. So this is a CFX install. You hold your
sound bank selection.
Hitting the
Exit menu.
Goes backwards, hitting the aux goes forwards, and then holding it
My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count.
selects that current font. So this is the latest production firmware with the CFX smooth swing. I believe that the 4 fonts, so this is, I believe, Chosen One that Austin provided, K-Sith, and there's actually 2 fonts that come with the Chosen One.
Sound bank selection.
Darth Vader. Don't make me kill you.
And actually, before I go forward, so Austin, you didn't have this with the kit, but I'm going to send an Allen key that works your blade retention screw, which is right here. And I'm just going to put a test blade in. And see, these things are fingerprint magnets somehow, even with the gloves on. I'm managing to smudge it and turn the light off there so you can actually catch it. So this is the second Chosen One font. So your quick press on the aux button is your blaster block. Hold is your clash, and then it's going to be hard here, but your drag, and it'll be similar for melt. So the CFX by default matches your ignition scroll up with the ignition sound. Austin wanted it to be a little quicker, screen accurate, so I changed the Q on to 600 milliseconds. So there's a slight scroll up, but it's pretty quick.
Sound bank selection.
So the next font provided was Tuscan Slayer by Kyberphonics Jesse. This one is pretty popular. I find it to have a little bit of an odd sound, almost like it's like a glitch on a computer. I think I saw the video where Star Wars Theory was going through his Skinnyflex and said that this was his favorite one. So this one has, I believe on the clashes, has, you can hear that it's got sand people, which is pretty awesome. So that's a third font.
Sound bank selection.
The last one was Rogue Vader. I think this might be K-Sith as well. And then, Austin, if you double click on the aux before you turn it on, or hold it, there you go. So this one's actually a pretty great font because this is the audio from the boarding scene at the end of Rogue One. I think I saw the video where this was introduced, and you. And double click turns the music off. So the rest of the fonts on here are all the stock
Sound bank selection.
that come on board with CFX.
This is General Connect.
Crystal focus. Crystal focus.
Who's Obi-Wan, Mace Windu.
This party's over.
And then you've got Spectrum on here, so I'll show you how to work
Sound bank
that.
selection.
So to enter Spectrum, so you can change colors by either hitting aux and act at the same time, or you can twist the saber while you're hitting aux.
Spectrum.
And now while you're in Spectrum, you twist it like a throttle to go through the colors. And then when you like the color, you can either tap aux again to get back to main operation, or hold it
Blade profiles.
to get to your different blade profiles. And the board
Sound bank selection.
will remember the profile and color that you last set. This board has hilt has great resonance. I messed around and put some different colors and different blade profiles on some of the stock fonts towards the end there. Again, you can change those all whenever and however you would like, using either Spectrum for the color, both buttons for the color, or Spectrum for the color and the blade profile. So that's going to be about it. Austin, if you have any more questions, just reach out. And yeah, two great sabers, the Aniflex and the Skinnyflex. Huge fans of both of them. This is my personal collection. It's one of my favorites. Both great sabers. And yeah, may the force be with you.